Hello and welcome back to Afters with Joe and Chelsea. This is the podcast all around self-growth.
And giggles.
We are still on the topic of fasting, week 2 of fasting. Hope you enjoyed the last episode at home. I've had quite a few people message me separately about fasting. They're wanting our opinions on fasting, which I think we'll finish this episode with, just to answer those questions.
But and I think, it's worth just highlighting there as well. Opinions, not facts.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. Because we're still quite a small podcast, it will get bigger, trust me. People are just having a more generalised conversation, but that therefore sparks a good conversation around fasting, a genuine one. It's not us trying to sell a product. It's not us trying to sell a certain product. It's us just being genuine and like what's worked for us and what we've listened to, what we've heard. So let's kick us off. Intermittent fasting. That sounds like a really big word, and it sounds like it's quite complicated to me. What is it? Simplest form.
I think intermittent fasting is just the umbrella term. So it's the term that gets used for loads of different styles of fasting that you do on a regular basis. So shortening your eating window every day is a type of intermittent fasting. For example, you could shorten your window down to 8 to 10 hours. 5 days, not 2 days fasting is another form of intermittent fasting, not one that we've done or we have experience in, but I think it's just that kind of like umbrella term for regular fasting lifestyle.
So my question is to that, would you argue that everyone intermittent fasts because they have a period of time where they go to sleep, and the majority of people go to sleep and they don't eat and they wake up and eat? So is that not a type of intermittent fasting?
Well, it's not a type of intermittent fast, but it is a type of fasting, yeah. But in order for benefits, trying to increase that fasting from most people are 10 to 12 hours because of sleeping to 13 to 15 hours.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah. So everyone at home, you probably are doing a type of fast.
Yeah, everybody is.
But to make it more beneficial and to have the most...
So really you're not doing anything that you aren't already doing. You're just extending that not eating window by a few hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a couple.
Okay. So some of the benefits are what? I know the benefits.
Do you? I know the benefits, do you?
I do.
It just helps your body reset essentially. So it's great for the gut. It lets your gut microbes do what they're designed to do, which is clean out everything. They restore the lining of your gut. It helps with like inflammation. So a lot of people that suffer from bloating, fasting is such a good thing for that. And that's one of the main benefits I've seen, is being able to control that, what felt like for many years, uncontrollable bloating.
Okay. So under that would be the reduction in inflammation, yeah? So not just your gut, but around your body. It helps inflammation around other areas of your body, which is obviously really important for longevity and the heart health and blood pressure, etc. Regulates your hormones. So the longer you spend in a fasted state, the more there's going to be a release of certain hormones like insulin, human growth hormone, which for the big boys out there, lads, who want to get bigger, stronger, bigger muscles.
And that's obviously where the whole women need to fast definitely comes into play, because we have, different hormones.
Yeah. It allows you to lose weight, right?
Fat loss, controversial topic online.
Because you're theoretically going to be consuming less calories because you're reducing your window you're eating in.
Oh, you just had to go for that one, didn't you? Just to get on the good side of all the.
I just want to wind you up. However, my argument to that is, what if you're still eating the same amount of calories in that window?
Look, I'm not an expert and I don't know the science behind it. All I know is I've introduced a fasting lifestyle alongside thinking more about the foods that I'm eating and making sure they're more wholesome, gut friendly. I don't feel like I eat any less because I've never really looked at what I eat, and when I'm hungry I eat, etc., etc. But
I'm hungry.
what I have noticed is fat loss. I feel like, obviously I work out as well, but I feel like I have more muscle definition and I have experienced fat loss. And I know that I have because I've recently been weighed and it's reflected that.
Nice. Yeah, I echo that, second that, ditto that.
But that wasn't the reason that we did it. It's just kind of been a byproduct.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of it, which is great. Concentration?
Yeah.
Energy levels?
Energy levels.
Can go into a bit more detail about that later on with the big words thrown around with ketones, can we?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So nothing in life is free. So what's the negative?
Money.
What's the cost?
That's a good question. I don't think I've got the answer
it's
to that.
not necessarily easy at the start. Some people are, I've got to have breakfast, getting out of a routine.
Yeah, I think for me, it's misinformation is probably the biggest negative to it. There is so many people that you don't know what their background is, you don't know what their qualifications are, that can provide information on social media platforms. And I think it can be a very misleading, misinformation place, especially in the fasting world, because then you obviously have a lot of PTs and health professionals that also have an opinion on it, but that's maybe not their specialty.
Yeah.
So I think the hardest thing is, if you're interested in it, going and finding the people that have spent 20, 25 years researching it and have put out books for the sake of putting out books, not because they want to make, I don't know, £1 million on an advert on Instagram.
Okay.
And go and read and find out more and see what works for you. And again, the most difficult thing is it's not a quick fix. It's not just do this and you get these amazing results. It is a lifestyle. It's a continual, is this working for me? Is it not? Can I try something different? And it's a journey to find out what works for you.
Yeah, I think, I kind of adding to that, I think the most negative thing that comes from it is you maybe putting pressure on yourself to stick to it or to integrate it successfully in your life, whereas if you don't and you don't succeed, it then might make you feel worse and you might actually go even further out towards the other end of like just eating too much or like eating to fulfill your emotional side of things.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to be realistic, because I'm not sure if people remember when we talked about the sleep podcast, one of the things that a lot of the studies say is that you have to eat 3 hours before you sleep, which is just ridiculous because we can't do that.
It's not sustainable for everybody, and for us it hasn't worked.
So then that could be kind of something similar to this being negative, because you have to eat in a certain window and you might not be able to stick to that every single day, or you might not be able to do it because things crop up or whatever. So I think if you've got the baseline set hours that you kind of try and stick to, then give it a go, but don't kind of like be disheartened or shoot yourself or put yourself down.
It's not for everyone, is it?
No.
And that's the.
But what I want to say is, to round intermittent fasting off, is where the human race has come to at this point in time. Yes, we've got so much food readily available. We've got so much information processing going on. We've survived as a human race by intermittent fasting. So there was once upon a time where we didn't know when our next meal was coming, so we had to fast and be in a fasted state to go and find our meal, to find our next
Your body's still got
level of safety or whatever it is. So there's nothing. You're not going to die. Like you're not going to pass out. You're not going to. If you increase it by an hour, your mood might change for like the first week. You might get hangry.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like you smoking a cigarette or drinking a ridiculously high caffeine energy drink.
Habit, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to have a bigger adverse effect than something that people already do already. So yeah, there's not really that much negativity around it.
Well, there's not much negativity that we've experienced.
No. Okay, that's the starter. Now for the main course.
Ooh, what's the main course?
Autophagy first. Autophagy!
I feel like this is getting quite a lot of exposure at the moment.
Oh yeah, big PTs out there.
On social media, etc.
Love it, love talking about it, love jumping on the wagon of, I know that this is a research thing, so I'm going to go and try and prove that it's not a research thing and that you can do other things. So I get a lot of attention on my social media page and I send out this information.
Ooh, burn.
I'm not here to sell autophagy. I'm not being sponsored. If someone sponsors me, they can. We're looking to monetize this podcast. But what is it? Tell me, what is it? People are going to be like, oh, what's that big word?
Okay, so...
How do you spell it as well? Autophagy.
GY, yeah.
Autotrophy.
Autophagy.
Autotrophy. Sorry.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to say his name right. I've written this down.
You've written something down? Blimey. Taking this seriously.
No, I've written the guy's name down.
Yeah, I'm serious. Okay. Right.
I know, I'm like you this week, man, on notebook. So there's a Japanese cell biologist called, I'm definitely going to get this wrong, aren't I? Yoshinori Osumi.
Yoshinori Osumi. Oh, yeah.
You said it quite quickly. Sounds alright, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's top boy.
And he's the one that actually won a Nobel Prize for discovering autophagy.
A Nobel Prize.
And it is essentially where your body clears out, turns to the inside of your cells for energy, and it pushes out all the junk. Okay. Really simply, everyday person put.
Okay.
That's about the level of my understanding of it.
So instead of it taking on more stuff through food and then it storing it in your cells or around your body as waste products that don't need to be there, it is not having anything new come in, so it has time to go into these cells and get rid of these dysfunctional proteins and everything else in your body, so it clears it out, so it's got room to then regenerate.
So here's a fun fact that I learned the other day from reading. Anybody likes reading? It's good.
If you say a name.
No, I'm not going to say a name. I don't actually think it's her that I read it from, but anyway. So when cells in our body currently rejuvenate and replenish.
Regenerate or rejuvenate?
Regenerate. I said that 3 words there. Right.
Regenerate.
When our cells regenerate, they don't distinguish between good cells and bad cells, or, diseased cells, for example. So when our cells regenerate, they just regenerate. So if you've got diseased cells, if you've got cancer cells, for example, cells that are no longer good for you, your body doesn't recognise that.
So it will just
and it just regenerates the cells.
Right, okay.
So
I get you.
the positive of autophagy is not only allowing your body to go in and heal itself, which it can do, the body is an amazing thing. It also allows, by getting rid of those junk, diseased bits that it doesn't need, when your body then regenerates that cell, it's regenerating a healthy cell, not regenerating a diseased cell.
And autophagy helps that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So autophagy is how many hours?
There's people that are probably going to correct me on this, but from my own research and what I do, it's 17 plus hours.
So it starts at 17 hours. They've seen autophagy work in the body in certain people from 17 hours.
Yeah. I think the study for that was more cancer patients.
So 17 hours after you've had the last food, or is it water, or is it certain
No, just
food?
It's food, but here's the thing. There are foods that you can eat or break your fast with that keeps you in that fasted autophagy state that allows you to go on for a few hours longer.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So I've been asleep for 8 hours. I finished eating 2 hours before, so that's 10 hours. I then wait another 7 hours when I've woken up to have my first meal. But before that, I'm really, really struggling, and I just want something to eat. And I ate a avocado. That wouldn't technically break my fast.
No.
Because it's so
high in fat.
Okay.
It stabilizes your insulin.
Okay. So my blood sugar level stays low.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I don't need to use that as energy and spike my blood sugar glucose levels.
Yeah.
So my insulin doesn't get released.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are ways to eat foods in a fast that keep you in a fasted state.
Okay.
So it's not, you're just restricting yourself from everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe what people think when they think of a fast.
Okay. So positives to doing an autophagy fast rather than an intermittent fast: the cell regeneration, the removal of dysfunctional cells, proteins.
Yeah, it's really
good for people with autoimmune conditions.
Yeah, Crohn's disease, diabetes, heart disease.
So stuff where you need your body to repair itself quicker and more efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
You're better off doing an autophagy fast quite a lot or quite frequently, because it helps your body out rather than you pumping it full of like different toxins and things that you get in food.
It's also great for women during the first 10 days of their cycle.
I think we've discussed this before. Is that why when you become ill with like a virus or sometimes a bacterial infection, you don't feel like eating? Is that because your body is wanting to stop stuff coming in and to allow your body to regenerate, to recover?
Maybe.
I mean, sometimes you just feel sick, so you don't want to eat, but
yeah,
that might be a body's defense mechanism to stop you.
Yeah.
And when you're ill, like, people know you're better when you start eating. Well, why don't we not rush people back to start eating so they can recover more and then feel better?
And also, here's the thing: let people listen to their own bodies.
Yeah, don't tell people what to do. Yeah.
You know, you feel in a certain way, and you will know inside what your body needs. It will tell you.
No, no one's gonna
just listen to it.
When you become ill, you're not gonna not eat forever because you'll die. So you're just going to get to the point where, yeah, I'm actually hungry now.
Yeah.
And you eat. Is it because people don't like? Is it to try and like stabilize someone's body weight? Like don't like lose too much weight too quickly. Is that why?
I don't know. You're getting very scientific
Sorry.
now, and I'm not a scientist. So.
Well, I'm just like I'm being very curious, inquisitive. Okay, so it's pretty good. Obviously, a lot more difficult to do. It's going to be one of the cons, isn't it? People are genuinely hungry a lot of the time. So let's say I go to bed at 10 p.m. No, I go to bed at 8 p.m. I wake up at 6. That is a 10-hour.
What are you talking about?
I'm doing an example of.
Why are you sleeping for 10 hours?
I'm just doing an example.
Right, okay.
Okay, right, start again. Okay, let's say I go to bed at 9. I then wake up at 5. That's an 8-hour. I have my last meal at 6 p.m. That is 10 hours. I then don't have my first meal. I don't break my fast until 4 p.m. No, I've done that wrong.
What are you trying to do here? I don't understand.
2 p.m. That's 17-hour fast. Yeah?
Right, and what's your point?
So my point being, the most difficult thing about that is going to be the amount of things telling you that you should be eating when you wake up.
Right, okay.
The hardest thing is going to be, the con of it is going to be you fighting against every sort of influence there is, from billboards to social media to people you're surrounded with, to try and stick to what you've just agreed to do.
But I feel like in this situation, you are not going to go, oh, do you know what? I really want to start thinking about my health. I'm going to try and do an autophagy fast. It's something that happens along your journey, and I just don't think that someone starting their health journey is going to just jump straight in and go, yeah, let's do this because I'm not well or I've got an autoimmune disease, whatever it is. I think it's something that comes along the journey. So when you're at that point, you're committed to it. So you're not bothered about the billboards or whatever else because you've already been on this health journey and you know the benefits of what you're about to do and when to do it.
So your argument could be people don't do it until they're ready to do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that first.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Go and research, go and find out, is it something that would benefit you? Like, when would it be good to do it?
Okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but is there any negatives to this fast? What's going to be the negatives of doing an autophagy fast?
I don't know.
Well, there has to be something, doesn't
But, well, yeah, there might be for somebody.
So what could it be then?
Well, I don't know.
Because we're coming at a very one-sided view here. We're looking at the benefits.
Yeah, because from our experience.
But there needs to be a balanced.
You just said there you could feel hungry fighting against whatever. That's your negative.
Could you potentially feel faint? Could you lose energy? Could you lose concentration? Could that be a negative?
No, because you wouldn't.
Well, you would if you do it without
If you're
having
not
practiced it and never done a fast before. You might do that.
Yeah, and that's, fasting 101. If you do feel faint or like you're going to pass out or like you really need to eat, it's having adverse effects and you're supposed to eat.
So, okay, that could be a negative.
Yeah, but I think that goes back to just not being ready. It's not something I personally don't think, it's something that you just jump into. And we have only really, in the past year, attempted, 17, 24-hour fast after learning more about it. and what we will experience, what we'll feel, what the benefits are, how we do it. See what I mean?
I see what I mean, yeah. Just trying to have a balanced view of it, that's all. So, not a lot of cons.
Well, I don't know enough about it. I'm not a scientist to know cons. I've just got it from my experience.
But we know the benefits of it. So that's...
From my experience, yeah, I know the benefits of it. Because
No,
I've researched into it.
Right, okay. Final one, the gut reset fast. What is it?
Why don't I ask you this, seeing as I've answered all of them?
Okay.
What is the gut reset fast?
It says in the name. You reset the gut. So 24-hour fast. Can it be longer? Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Similar to an autophagy fast, but this is focused around you giving your gut a full reset. So you're probably not even going to eat avocado. You're not going to consume any sort of food. The only thing that you might still consume is coffee.
Yeah.
And a lot of liquid, like a lot of water. So I mean, I play a lot of water, not anything else, not fizzy drinks, not juices, nothing, just
not energy drink.
Classic water. And that is going to give your gut a break. It's going to completely stop new things coming in and shuffling it all about. It's going to completely reset the gut lining, the intestinal cells get to reboot.
Lovely.
All that kind of lining kind of gets reset.
Rebalances the bacteria as well, doesn't it?
It's like the analogy I use is in Magaluf when you've stayed awake and you're coming back to your hotel and the kind of like civil defence are out on the streets with these massive hose pipes like hosing down all the beep on the pavements, including people, to refresh it ready for the next night.
The next night of carnage.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
So that's my analogy. Yeah, got that.
Pros. What are the pros of a gut reset, Joseph?
Just said it. Benefit.
Oh, sorry. What are the negatives of a gut reset, Joseph?
Negatives could be that you feel hungry and your stomach might start to gargle, and it might be distracting, it might be off-putting. You might feel like your mood changes because you can't kind of, that normal kind of routine that you go to get your energy and to almost like regulate your hormones isn't quite there because you're not consuming anything. So for the first time you might do it, or a couple of times, we've done it now quite a few times, so I don't get that anymore. Didn't really get it in the first place, but I can imagine if you've done it quite a few times, you're not going to get that. But like we keep saying with any of these fasts, if you do feel massively abnormal and you don't feel like you've got energy and you feel faint or dizzy or
massively abnormal,
anything abnormal, I meant, then you can break your fast.
There's no such thing as a failed fast. It's just a journey. It's a lifestyle.
There's no such thing as a failed fast.
It's like when you're on a house journey and you eat a cookie. You're not failed. You just.
Oh, don't know, have you?
You're just on the journey, aren't you?
Okay. Finish us off then.
I wouldn't even notice if you started laughing.
Don't worry, love. It's not bad. But it was love.
Oh God.
Right.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think we'll round this off, won't we?
Okay.
We will talk about more in depth on kind of the female fast and length of fast that are relevant to the time of your cycle, because as I said before, it is really important for women to understand their cycles. It's not just as simple as the different fast lengths as it is for men.
Yeah.
We really need to think about our
Your
hormones.
first hand experience that day.
Yeah, like there can be
This
negative
information.
effects to just, for example, a female just intermittently fasting. There's no variation. Things like hair loss. Also, you know, some women may experience a bit, if you're doing it for weight loss, experience a bit of weight loss and then nothing. And again, it's all just about making sure you're in line with your hormones. Can also result in losing your periods, which is completely not what you want. But then fasting can be used to get your periods back. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think there's just so much to talk about from a female perspective. So we will touch upon that next week with answering some common questions as well.
No, next week is going to be the foods for fasting.
Oh yes.
So fasting from a girl's perspective, woman's perspective, and what foods should we be breaking our fast with, and helping to get the most benefits out of fasting.
And all the foods that we need to eat during certain parts of our cycle with the fasts.
Yeah. Thank you once again for tuning into Afters with Jane Chelsea.
Hope you enjoyed yourself.
As we keep saying, if you have any questions surrounding fasting, please get in touch.
Let us know.
We're just going to finish with one question that we received in the DMs.
Go on.
What was the reason you started fasting?
Ooh.
So mine was a big influencing factor was you. You kind of like pushed it towards us as a couple to try it. But we were just both fed up of our guts.
I don't remember this. Did I start it and you just go, oh, that's interesting? Or did I like go, oh, you should do that?
You should do it.
Oh, right. I don't remember.
And that we were just fed up of our gut feeling, and I don't know, something needed to change, and we were like, well, let's just give it a go because it might help with our gut and might make us feel a bit healthier. You were obviously fed up of feeling bloated all the time, so that was the kind of reason we did it. Well, I think we did it is that was the focus. We weren't there to try and lose weight. We weren't trying to do it to have more energy. We were doing it for a gut perspective, and then it's just kind of blossomed from there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, there was this guy, this scientist on, I think it was a High Performance podcast maybe, that spoke about gut health and fasting, and specifically what fasting can do for the gut. And because I had such bad gut issues for so many years, I thought, well, might as well give it a go.
Never look back.
And that was it for me.
Okay, any more questions, let us know. Send them across and we will be answering them. Please give us a follow on Instagram, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.
And we will see you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon.
I need to get the last one.